Story 1. Singing. In my head, I sound like Beyoncé, but in reality, I sound like a cat slowly stepping on Legos. Still doesn't stop me from belting out in the shower like I'm on a world tour, though. Story 2. Chess. Put me against a computer with a rating of about 2000 to 2200, and I win more than I lose. Place me against a player rated 1000, and I just fumble and lose. I don't know why. Story 3. Painting. I struggle with composition, proportions, and dimensions, but the action alone of moving the brush and seeing something slowly being created is very therapeutic and pushes all the right buttons. Story 4. I love languages, find them fascinating, and would love to learn additional languages. But I don't have the mind for grammar rules. They never stick. The best luck I had was learning a dead language. It was much easier, but I'm still far from proficient. Story 5. Cake decorating. I love trying to make pretty designs and try to produce a beautiful cake, but they never turn out how I envision them. I don't mind eating my attempt, though. Story 6. Psychology. I want to be a detective so badly. I love watching interviews with killers and understanding body language, but I think it's too late for me to learn all that now. I've already gone down a different path, and I'm not the brightest person. I wish I listened more in school. Even my spelling is becoming bad now, and I'm 19. Story 7. Keep experimenting until you find things that interest you. Maybe it is hanging out with friends, going to the gym, or even some obscure hobby. I had a hard time with this when I was 16 too because I did not have many friends and I did not know enough about myself yet to truly have any real hobbies. But eventually, if you try out different things, you will realize that there are certain things that captivate you more than others. Once you find those things, it is a lot easier to stave off boredom. Story 8. This thread has a lot of people on the early side of a passion, and practice would help pretty much all of them. I have a passion for racing. I have a decent amount of natural talent, but I improved quickly because of the hours of seat time in studying. Story 9. Political activism. I'm not really a good speaker, nor am I a great motivator for other people to stand up for their own beliefs, but I am very willing to engage in what truly matters. Whether it's sharing information, volunteering, or simply showing up, every action I do counts and contributes to the larger movement for change. Story 10. Singing like a rock star. I have the passion, the heart, the air guitar, but let's just say my neighbors have kindly suggested I stick to karaoke nights. Despite my lack of talent, my enthusiasm is off the charts. Anyone else out there with dreams bigger than their skills? Let's share our passions and maybe form the world's most enthusiastic, but not necessarily skilled band. Story 11. Skateboarding. I love everything about skateboarding, but I have no confidence on a board. I'm a bicycle motocross rider who knows more about the skate scene and culture than I do bicycle motocross. Story 12. Well, first, enjoy being a kid while you still can in whatever ways you can find, because assuming the age of adulthood is 18 where you are, you don't have much time. Next, start finding things that interest you, maybe here online, and research those things. Find something to make into a hobby and work on getting better at it. Or if you want to just keep watching shows in bed, start watching really good shows and research them. How were they made? What historical events are they based on? Is there a podcast about this? Exploring anything you're interested in will lead you to other things you're interested in. Lastly, if none of the above seems even slightly doable, see if you can possibly be checked for symptoms of depression just in case. Sometimes apathy and lack of motivation are caused by depression, and it would be very helpful to know now so you can take steps to work on it early. Story 13. Driving vehicles, especially two-wheelers. I have tried so hard. I am not able to overcome the fear that I might hit someone with my vehicle. I am just not able to balance and drive smoothly. I still want to try and hope to learn it someday. Story 14. Horse person here. My horse has gone over the Rainbow Bridge, but my answer to this question is about riding. Goddamn if I don't wish I had both a better sense of balance and less of an aversion to injury than I do. I could be riding all out like my friends, having a blast. But no. I was always more like, oh, the wind is loud today. Let's just lunge in the indoor arena instead. And yes, of course, I always wear a helmet. I would prefer a full-body bubble wrap and perhaps one of those things where figure skaters have a bungee contraption attached to the ceiling. Story 15. Music. It just flows through me and puts me in such a happy place. I tried learning piano and guitar, and that went nowhere. Singing. Only if I can talk like, "The devil went down to Georgia." I would prefer being able to sing over playing, but I would actually be happy to just be mediocre at either. Story 16. Quizzes. I really love quizzes and get some new information, but still I'm just kind of stupid in so many things like general knowledge or public persons. Story 17. Art. Painting, sketching, digital. I used to draw a lot when I was in my early teens and wish I had kept up with it. I have so many things in my head I want to put on paper, but the talent isn't there. The software is good. The hardware is terribly outdated. Story 18. I love singing and dancing. I'm not great at either, but I do it anyway in the comfort of my own home. I wish I were talented enough to be part of a theater group or something. Story 19. I have ideas going through my head all the time, but whenever it comes to putting them into words, my mind goes blank. So I just try to find something to read that's similar. Story 20. Singing. I go to karaoke somewhat often and enjoy it, but typically try to pick a song that most of the crowd will know so they can sing along and drown me out. Story 21. Music. It is so important to me and has shaped so much of my life and so many of my memories, but I cannot for the life of me make it. I have tried to learn a couple of different instruments and I just could not do it, and I cannot carry a tune in a bucket. Story 22. Media creation. I have loads of ideas for books and movies, but when I actually get down to creating them, I halt for no reason. I have this one idea about a random Imperial Japanese soldier in World War II. The book follows him from China all the way to Nagasaki. Random character made up, but it follows real events. I wrote about 3 paragraphs and then stopped. Story 23. For me, it's junk journaling and collage art type stuff. I love beautiful messes with tape and stickers and stamps. I bought many tools and saved so many scraps, and I did create a few things I liked. But I just can't get to a point where I'm good at it and can complete a layout in one sitting. And it often just looks like I'm trying too hard, which I likely am. It's just not my thing, but I love looking at it and enjoying the tactile nature of it. Story 24. Playing guitar. I grew up in the days of 1980s shredders and have always wished I could be even 1/1000th as talented. I own many guitars and can still barely play basic chords somewhat. I admit lazy and undisciplined are my 2 biggest obstacles. Story 25. Honestly, most of the things I'm interested in. I love shooting pool, but I'm average. I love online shooters, but I haven't been good for almost a decade. I love listening to music, but I have 0 creative talent. I love bodybuilding, but my body is falling apart. Life is lame, I guess. Story 26. Singing. I love to sing, but I'm tone deaf as hell. So much so, my choir teacher gave up on getting me on key and just got me as close as she could. I eventually gave up and stuck to fiber art and baking. Story 27. I always wanted to learn about photography with a digital single-lens reflex camera because I imagined it wouldn't be that different from the professional mode on my phone. Turns out it is. Story 28. Animation. I took one animation class in art school and quickly realized I lacked the patience and temperament for it, but it made me respect animators so much more. Story 29. Musical theater. I've even considered trying out for a few community productions. While I think I can hold a tune with some coaching, I can't dance very well. Story 30. Stories. Imagining thriller and twisted stories, but never able to bring them on screen as a movie. I used to write comics of the stories in my childhood. In my college days, I used to create 2-dimensional animated YouTube videos of funny twisted thriller stories. I uploaded 200 videos over 5 years and got 10,000 subscribers, but then I left it because of adulthood and a job. Still, I imagine great stories with a unique plot. Story 31. Cooking. I absolutely love the process of it, especially if I'm listening to music while cooking, but God, I'm terrible at it. I can technically take a recipe and just follow it religiously, but I'll always miss out on the spices since the quantities are usually relative, and improvising a meal without a recipe is even worse. Story 32. Music and wrestling. I have never been able to sing or play an instrument very well and can't even read music. I wrestled in high school all 4 years and didn't wrestle a single varsity match. Not even close. Story 33. Composing music. I love music and can play multiple instruments, but I don't know or understand how to create something original. It feels like I'm just missing the part of myself that other artists have. Story 34. Drawing. I have so many images in my head that I cannot get down on paper. I've tried. I've practiced as a kid, taken classes on Udemy, and even went to school for animation and visual effects. I never felt good enough. I've switched to writing and have a lot of fun with it despite knowing I'm not great at it either. Story 35. For me, it is definitely singing. I absolutely love music and often find myself belting out my favorite songs at home or in the car. But when it comes to hitting those high notes or staying on pitch, I am pretty much all over the place. Even though I know I am not the best singer, it does not stop me from enjoying it. It is a reminder that sometimes passion does not have to be tied to talent. It is all about the joy it brings you. Story 36. Figure skating. Started as an adult 2 years ago, and I absolutely suck. It's taken me months to learn things that people get through in days. Currently sitting around awaiting rotator cuff surgery from a fall I sustained in August on the ice. Story 37. Gymnastics. I absolutely love gymnastics and was okay at it as a kid and teen because I'm naturally flexible and worked hard because I was motivated. I was able to be a good gymnast on a recreational level, like the one helping to lead the classes because I had all those skills, but not good enough for any team, really. I could never get far in gymnastics because I'm really tall with a large frame and not really strong. If I was 5 feet tall with a muscular build, I would have been on the Olympic team. I find gymnastics so fascinating and amazing, and I would have worked as hard as I needed to if I had the build and talent. Story 38. Blogging or creative writing. I wish I were better at it or could have some sort of career related to it. But hey, maybe that's why I am on Reddit. I get to write a lot. Haha. Story 39. I am passionate about playing the guitar, but I have no real talent for it. I love the idea of making music, but my skills never seem to improve much. Story 40. I think a lot of people in this thread could benefit from watching this. Basically, for all beginners, there is a gap between your tastes and your abilities, and a lot of people never get past that phase. However, most people who are really good at something also went through this same phase. The important thing is to just get a lot of practice at the thing you love, and that gap will eventually close. Story 41. Writing. I have a lot of ideas and my heart is really into it, but I can't seem to be consistent. Most of the time, I don't have the words for it. I really want to express myself through words on paper, but I feel like I always fall short when it comes to it. Story 42. Guitar. I have played piano for 15 years, and still do, and wanted to try guitar. For some reason, it is so hard to understand the fretboard. I keep trying and do not give up, of course, but it is so different. Story 43. Cricket. I have so much passion for cricket, yet my bowling action is incorrect, though my batting is decent. Also singing, writing, and playing musical instruments. I often daydream like Walter Mitty about being a guy who is great at all of the above. How my life would turn out, winning World Cups, having a great YouTube channel, releasing albums, dating supermodels, etc. Story 44. I have a lot of ideas and opinions about organizing teams and about the perfect, empathetic, engaging way to teach. I was a high school teacher before becoming a programmer, but I struggle in any leadership or management role, and I'm not good at showing genuine interest in other team members. Story 45. Woodworking. I would love to build my own cabinets or furniture, but I can't do it. I've tried. I can barely read a tape measure. Everything I cut is crooked, and I always injure myself. I have all of the equipment, but none of the talent. Story 46. Not sure if this counts, but language learning. I desire to be able to talk to people in their native language. However, no matter how much I try, I always forget the words. Story 47. Right now, I'm playing the guitar. All those Guitar Hero and Rock Band motivational comments like, "Hey, get a real guitar," made me feel like it would be fun and easy. The thing is, I'm so used to only one strum bar and a 1x5 fretboard that now all my Guitar Hero muscle memory is hindering me. It won't stop me, but it sure has me unlearning a lot before I can learn anything. Story 48. I love gymnastics, but I am too old to get good enough to compete at a high level, and I have terrible coordination. I love watching it though, and I know a lot about the behind-the-scenes stuff for the Women's United States team. Story 49. I wish I were more talented at painting, but my attention deficit hyperactivity disorder makes me uncoordinated. My brain is too quick for my hands. A teacher once looked down at my art and said to me, "You're not planning on becoming an artist, right? I don't really paint anymore." Story 50. Singing. Specifically, musical theater. I am a fairly talented musician and enjoy playing in the pit, but I'd give almost anything to belt like that. Story 51. Everything I love art, but I'm not good at it. I love books and writing, but I can't pull any writing of my own together. I love photography, but I can't remember the technicalities of it, aperture, etc. I think languages are fascinating, but my brain doesn't hold on to a lot of information, so I struggle with them. I've tried my hand at a lot of things, but have never been particularly good at anything. It's disappointing. I feel like I'm just mediocre. Story 52. Bees and other pollinators, but I'm pretty bad at dealing with bugs. I have zero fear of bees. I routinely handle them and help them out when I find injured ones in the garden. It's all the other bugs that make me run screaming in the other direction. I will actively yell at a wasp to go away, but that's about all the fight I have in me because once it even turns my direction, I'm bolting. I give harmless soldier beetles a wide berth when working in the pollinator garden. I will leave and not come back to a particular plant for days if I see an earwig on it. Any spider other than a daddy longlegs, jumping spider, or orb weaver, forget about it. Earlier today, I had to call my partner over to remove the desiccated corpse of a house centipede from the corner of my office because looking at them makes me dry heave. I'll hang out with a dehydrated bumblebee on my lap for hours though, no problem.